Ahora transmitido en español es Adam Plessler y Morgan Webb.
We're multicultural. Yay. Welcome back to X-Play.
Now, Adam and I, like many people living in these turbulent times, are afraid of a lot of things. Superflu, for one.
Premature aging.
Terrorism.
Dragon Ball Z fans.
Yes, the Dragon Ball fans are often our harshest and least literate critics. Well, today, we once again open ourselves up to a barrage of hostile email as we review a brand new Dragon Ball Z title.
Yeah, get ready. Here's a review of Dragon Ball Z, Budokai 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming!
Though you probably expected distinct big boobies, are we still allowed to say boobies? Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 actually isn't half bad. For a game based on an aging cartoon series, it actually manages to get a couple of things right.
Which fighters will we see? The excitement is mounting!
Firstly, its gameplay is actually tight and surprisingly accessible. Just don't expect no fighting game science. Secondly, it looks very faithful to its source material.
You've got some nerve not calling him Master Frieza.
Lastly, I'm dry.
Hey, come on, fight me right!
Well, two positive things ain't bad. As far as the single-player game goes, it is fairly inventive and interesting.
Not bad.
Playing Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 is pretty. The rules stay the same. Shoot out crazy projectiles. The choice of characters include midgets, this dude with the crazy hair, and the little green guy who looks like a possessed kazoo. You can punch and kick too, and string attacks into more complex combos. But you'll find that it isn't really necessary. Come on, you've seen the cartoon. It's all about the mega explosive projectiles. You'll occasionally get locked up with your enemies, during which time you'll have to mash the buttons like crazy to come out on top. But at the risk of sounding like a broken record, it's usually all about the projectiles. One of the cooler things about Budokai 2 is that after especially hard-hitting attacks, the environment itself will often respond. Hey, aren't there child cruelty laws against this sort of thing? The single-player game itself is actually kind of interesting. It's basically a board game in which you travel around a bunch of maps based on the series locales, fighting all kinds of enemies. But many of the sequences have you fighting the same enemy over and over. And if your attention span is anything like most Dragon Ball Z fans, then you're going to want to maul your TV after a couple of hours. There's no doubt about it. Budokai 2 is one for the fans. While the fighting is more than halfway decent, it's too shallow and strategically repetitive.
That's enough!
Aw, man, this is so embarrassing.
X-Play gives Dragon Ball Z Budokai 2 a 3 out of 5.
Okay, that's all for today.
People, before you send the hate mail, a 3 out of 5 is not a bad score.
Doesn't matter. They're still going to send the hate mail.
Yeah.
Now, you don't believe me? We have a little sampling of some of the whimsical fan mail the Dragon Ball Z boys sent us when we gave the first Dragon Ball Z Budokai a 2 out of 5.
Okay, letter number 1 from Troy in Rector, Arizona.
Rector. He writes, "You furs, I really like, but what you said about Dragon Ball Z, I felt like kick you ass. Do you know what you dice about the game made me cry? Holy crap."
I don't know.
I mean, you can't accidentally spell that badly, Troy. Now, if our negative review made you felt like kick you ass and cry, maybe a fondness for Dragon Ball Z is the least of your problems.
And moving on to email number 2 from Jerome in Moreno Valley. He writes, DBZ fans will destroy you. I mean, at least he keeps it short and sweet. There's real beauty in its simplicity.
Yes, Jerome, congratulations. You've taken the vague threat and made it in art form.
Now, our final email is from The Great Guru.
Ooh.
He writes, hey, you guys need to shut up, Adam and Morgan. You should not be reviewing DBZ games. You guys are so anime illiterate, it's not even funny. You only give it a bad score because you know freaking nothing about it. It's Saiyan, you dumbass.
That was just lovely. I like the way you read
Thanks.
it. You really, you
I
could feel
had the
passion.
emotion, yeah.
Okay, a few points, Guru. Knowledge of the anime has little or absolutely nothing to do with being able to recognize Budokai as being a bargain basement attempt at a shoddy fighting title.
Okay, now as to the Scion matter. When you Romanize Japanese, something spelled S-A-I-Y-A-N is pronounced Scion.
Now, for some reason, the people dubbing the show into English decided to make it Saiyan.
But frankly, I just have to ask you, who the hell cares?
You know, I want the time we spent talking about that. I want those 30 seconds back. Okay, third point. Not knowing that DBZ does not indicate a lack of anime familiarity.
I
Only
love
good
anime.
taste.